Well, hello y'all. I figured that it would be a good idea to just come out, make a little video of who I am, what brought me into the bus life community, and how I got here. So, long story short, I was born and raised in San Francisco Bay Area. Ended up marrying my high school sweetheart. We were together for a total of 22 years, married for 17. Realized that we were better friends and split up. She is the mother of my first 3 children. I ended up remarrying a second time, and she is the mother of my youngest child. So I've got 4 kids. Anyways, after my second wife and I split up, I realized that, I pretty much like playing ball for the other team. So I experimented and found out that I like dudes, and got into my first relationship with a guy. At that time, we were living in a very small hick town up in the Sierra Nevadas of California, and I came out at work, and I ended up getting gay bashed at work. Had brake cleaner sprayed in my eyes, was blind for 3 months. When I did get released to go back to work, my employer ended up letting me go over it, which I did take it to court. I pushed it all the way before trial, and they were offering me $50,000, which wasn't a whole lot of money, So basically, the judge asked my attorney and the other attorney if she could take me into her chambers and speak with me privately. So we went back to her chambers, and she pretty much told me in a nice way that I needed to take that money and run. That if I would have pushed this to trial, the jury pool that I would have got in that town would not have been good. I would have probably ended up with less money, and she told me that I'd probably end up in a mine shaft dead somewhere. So I had a big decision to make. Do I want to stay here, live in fear, or do I want to uproot my life and go somewhere else? So I actually did uproot my life and go somewhere else. At that time, I had to make a decision to walk away from my family. It still hurts. It caused issues with my kids and I, which this was when I was 35. I'm now 51. We're just getting our relationship back. But anyways, I left there, went to Sacramento for a while, realized that Sacramento wasn't for me, went back to the Bay Area, San Francisco. When I was there, I realized that I wanted to own a home someday. The only way I was going to do that was to think outside of the box. That's when tiny houses really started popping. So I got myself a trailer. I framed it. That's pretty much as far as I got with it. And I lost it in a fire. Here we go again, another wall. So I was just living my life, trying to be happy, be positive. And I met my last partner. My last partner, I was telling him what happened with the trailer, had the bright idea of, what about a school bus? I was like, no doubt, that is a good idea. So, started looking at school buses, didn't pull the trigger on anything. I ended up losing my job in San Francisco and decided it was time for me to leave California. So I put my resume up in Oregon, because that's, I love it here. That's where I wanted to be. And overnight, I had a hit on my resume for a position in Eugene to manage, working for one guy, managing 3 shops, company car, company credit card, the whole 9 yards. I met with him. I accepted the position, and then I realized I don't know anybody here. Where am I going to live? How am I going to do this? So on our way back to the Bay Area, we were on the coastal road, and we drove past a bus that was for sale. Stopped, looked at it, called the guy. He wanted more than I wanted to pay. After talking to him, he had another bus which was less money in the price range, but needed some work and didn't run. So went and looked at it. Within about 5-10 minutes, I got it fired up, was able to take it on a test drive, and I bought my first bus. I ended up buying that bus. Me and my ex went in on it. So he partially had money on it as well. We did the conversion on, well, actually we glamped in it. We took out all the seats. We glamped in it, bounced from spot to spot every 2 weeks. And then once the season started to change, when fall came around, I realized this isn't working. I'm cold, I'm miserable. We have no electricity, we have no water, none of that. Like I said, we were glamping out of this bus. So at that time, I decided I wanted to rent a little piece of property from somebody with electricity and water hookup. With that, I could get through the winter. So we did. We found this property, and we lived there on it in the bus until spring came. When spring came, we moved everything out of the bus, moved into a tent in the yard, and started our conversion. Worked on the conversion all of that spring, all of that summer. Fall came around, it wasn't done. We moved back in, lived, fall and winter in the bus again. Next spring and summer, decided to do the same thing, which we did. We actually ended up on a different piece of property though, because the first piece of property, some neighbors were complaining of the construction noise. So we found another piece of property, moved there. Basically had the bus pretty close to completion. Did not have the walls around the bathroom or the kitchen sink in, was still doing dishes in the bathtub. And things kind of went south with that relationship. Well, they didn't kind of go south, they went extremely south with that relationship. It got real bad, got real toxic. Trying to live with somebody in those conditions in less than 300 square feet wasn't doing it for me. I wanted to sell the bus and split the money. My ex refused. He was not going to budge, was not going to leave. So I basically, at that point, became homeless. I took everything that I could fit in my BMW, which was not much, and I bailed. I had to leave my dog behind because I couldn't leave my dog in the car while I was at work. So Kiva had to stay. Eventually some friends ended up taking me in and letting me stay there till I was saved up and got into a roommate situation. I finally got my dog back once I signed the bus over to him. He wouldn't give me my dog back until I gave him the bus, basically. So I did, because I wanted my dog. I wanted to move on with my life. So I got my dog back. I moved into a roommate situation, which was interesting. 5 people in a 3-bedroom house with, like 3 dogs. But I did it. I had to do what I had to do. Stood there until I got my apartment. I've been in my apartment now for going on 3 years. I've been saving and saving and saving and saving because I didn't want to give up my dream. That's when I found Matilda. Matilda is a 1988 E350 shuttle bus. Was originally a Portland TriMet bus that was retired and sold to a church. She was with the church for a while, and then she was sold to the guy that I bought her from, which he did a real bad conversion, and I've gutted her completely out, and I'm starting over. Right now, I pretty much got Matilda's roof all sealed up. I've got her paint job done. I need to now work on my window deletes and getting my windows all sealed up, and then I could actually start my build. My interior build, that is. But I figured, you know, my channel, the way my videos go are kind of sporadic, and I wanted to just sit down and, you know, let all of you know who I am, where I came from, how I got to this, and that's pretty much my story. So right now my game plan is to get this bus built out. I'm gonna live in it full-time and bounce for a while. Or I'm actually looking right now at, I may have got my credit straightened out enough and enough of a down payment where I might actually buy my first house with a piece of property on it, which that's going to give me and Matilda a place for home base. My ultimate goal is to have that piece of property with a very small house, cabin, something like that, rent that out so it pays for my property, me live in the bus on an RV pad, and just live our best life. You know, nowadays, living outside of the box and downsizing is accepted, and it's awesome. And the bus community is amazing. My local bus community that I have now kind of became a family with are just the most awesome people I've ever met in my life. So happy that our paths have crossed and that we're able to help each other out. Shout out Isaac, Jaylena, Dawn, Mindy. Love y'all more than you know. But anyways, I'm Rob. This is Matilda. This is our plan, and welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy the journey, and yeah, let's just all be happy.